Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I took down a snap pea vine and how I saved all the seeds so I can use them for the next few years. I was able to process a lot of the seed and save them. These are the snap peas that I let them go to seed so I could save the seeds. And now we're in June and they're completely dry, and I'll show you the sound that it makes if you let them go to seed. I'll be saving the seeds and the dried vines. The vines I'll be using to make compost and then put it back into the garden. So I'll just take the pods and pull them. You have to tug them a little bit, but not too much, and they'll come off. Sometimes the seeds are super ready that they'll pop out of the little seed pod. This whole area where I grew the snap peas is 18 feet long by, I'm gonna say, 6 feet tall. And I had quite a few of snap pea plants. The whole 18 feet was full of snap peas. Once I remove the pods, I just go ahead and use the scissors and cut off the dried vines and put them in the container so I can just take them down to the right next to the compost pile. And I slowly made my way down the trellis. It definitely took, I would say, half a day or more to cut down the vines and save the seeds, and making sure that I was able to save all the seeds. I would say about 90% of the pods were completely dried, but sometimes you'll find some of the pods that are still green or semi-green. The ones that are green or semi-green, I just remove them and give them to the chickens. You could save them, but from what I read, they might not sprout as well as if you let them dry completely. And my vine goes completely to the other side of my neighbor's. This is the pile that I'm saving. I just put the dried vines in here and collect them as I go. And this is my pile where once the bucket gets full, I just bring it down to this area. And this is where I put my dried material. And I just have it ready to go for when I start my new compost pile. As I was cutting the bush, some of the vines are still ripening off, so I just wanted to show you how they look. So this one, it's just started to dry and the pots is still green. And I'll open one up so you can see. So this is, you don't want to pick the seeds for saving at this stage. There they are. They're actually a good size. And you can eat them, or you can cook them up with vegetables as well, or save them in the freezer to use them in the future. And then this one, the pots are starting to dry up and the leaves are starting to dry up as well, and the pods will be more or less the same, but the outer shell is starting to dry up. Let's see. And the seeds are starting to look less green than the other one. So here's this one, here's this one. So the seeds are starting to ripen up a little bit. Hardly any difference. And then this one's, the seeds are starting to dry. Let's see if they're completely ready. But the vine is still green. And sometimes I picked it like this. I thought they were ready, but the seeds, yeah, they're still drying up. So the seeds won't be ready for savings. You could save them, but they might not sprout as well if you let them completely dry on the vine. And then here I let the vine completely dry, and it has like this maraca sound. And I'm just gonna open one up. And here they are. The seeds are completely dried and ready for save. And ready to be saved for next season. Finally, in the afternoon, I was able to make it down to the back of the trellis to collect the other seeds. By the time I got around, the box where I was collecting seed was almost full. Once I cut down all the vine, I ended up with 3 full buckets of brown material that I can use for making compost. And these are all the seed pods I was able to collect. And these are a few that I collected earlier in the day. Then I just went pod by pod and took out the seeds. It definitely took a lot of time. I would say a couple hours. I'm gonna have to find a better system for next time. But it was very meditating to just go through the seeds. I asked my son for help, and he was really, really nice to just come out and help me for a while. Some of the pods definitely got sick. Like this one is green and looks like it got molded or something.
If somebody asks,
But this is a healthy pot, and once you take out each seed, this should look like this. And this is how much we had harvested. This is how much I was able to harvest yesterday from all of the pots I removed. So what I'm gonna do today is spread them out in baskets like this so they can dry out completely. And these are some sweet pea pods that I harvest from another spot of the garden a couple weeks ago, and I just spread them out in this basket to let them completely dry out. Some of these are green and I'm not sure if they're gonna sprout, but I'm gonna do a test later on to see if they sprout. And I just make sure that the jar was super dry, there's no water in there, and then the seeds were super dry. So I'm just gonna cover it and they should be good for a couple years. Now these are the ones that I just harvested yesterday. So I'm just gonna spread them out. They look pretty dried already, but just in case, I'm gonna let them be for a couple of days. Here's the other one. Oops, way too much. My spread. And I also measure them just to see how much I harvest. I ended up with 1,525 grams of seeds. Then I went online to see how many grams there are per package. So the $2.99 package has 20 grams of seeds in it. So then I just divided 1,525 divided by 20 grams. That gave me 76 packages. And that's a total of $227.98 that I was able to harvest from this trellis. And I'll be saving seeds as I go along, growing more vegetables and herbs and flowers. Thank you so much for watching and happy gardening.